Welcome, acolytes. First of all, today I actually didn't want to do a chibi video because I want to pause it from time to time just so I can get a real mix in, not always do the same thing time and time again. But hey, and Japanese. But in this case, Japan forced to censor manga by Western companies or they lose everything. And I mean, just it's fine. You're gonna hear enough from me after this. But first of all, Agent of Social Media Chaos, thank you for recommending me this one. And by freaking, I don't know, every unholy god of this earth, the title. Yeah, I am so baffled that Western companies actually wanna censor Japanese manga. For F's sake, how far are we going here? But I'm gonna be honest, it was a matter of time. It's I'm covering chibi again. I shouldn't do that. But oh wait, I have an idea. Good, I just shot a thumbnail because if I ever grow to a really big, sizable, gigantic matter, I want to be known for someone who has so bad like that the thumbnails are so bad that it's just laughable how the F it actually happened. So as it is, let's just start this. I am rambling from the start because this just and by the way, I also got the election thing. I basically forgot there was an election, so in America, so there's that. But Trump won. Well, good enough. Good enough. And by the way, I hope that everything in America gets better. Just don't pick the same people. No, I'm making this political. It's about chibi. Sorry about that. Let's just start.
Devastating and heartbreaking news that came out earlier this morning from the author of Love Hina. This is their official Twitter account. So this is just blatant censorship. Like, just straight up censorship. Like, Western...
Okay. A digital launcher 40 years ago is now known as a manga library Z has decided to shut down the site. Okay.
Companies are forcing Japan to bow down and censor not just anime and manga to be viewed overseas, but to literally censor the content at its very source.
Yes, and this is something where I am asking, why don't the Japanese just say, F you, we don't care, then censor us? It is what it is. I'm gonna be honest, I will get my stuff anyway. There isn't only one way to do this, and if the stuff gets popular enough, it is what it is. It is what it is. And at some point, but also this is the next point why you always should go against freaking tyranny, because here you go, the next censorship.
This is just tragic. It's tragedy itself, because people like to believe like maybe Japan will never censor themselves, and the only time you'll ever see censorship is like through like maybe when it's distributed overseas, like let's say in the United States or Europe or something. We get the censored version, and if you want to watch the original cut of the version, you'll have to go to Japan and have a fan translation group maybe translate it or something, but you theoretically could get an uncensored version of it. But this right here, this official post that was made by Ken, aka the author of Love Hina, pretty much has Western companies forcing their ideology and their viewpoints and everything on Japan at its very source, and basically backing out to where they cannot make any money. This is honestly an ongoing story that's been happening for the last...
And by the way, what I am right now realizing, the Japanese are actually clapping back to a certain degree. Of course, they wanna get their share of the market in the Western world. But remember, this is America we're talking about here. You mean that the Japanese didn't clap against the censorship in sexuality, censorship or the gun ownership. The freaking entire thing was fine with them. This was all fine. Guns, the sexiness, they were just, yeah, that's fine. And this is where Japanese people actually start clapping back. I am just surprised that anybody actually at this point still thinks that thinking like that, like woke thinking, is anything good. I just don't understand how people can come to the conclusion.
Few years now, it's been an ongoing battleground, actually, with card companies in Japan and censorship. And you might have heard about this story recently, actually. About 6 months ago, maybe 7 months ago, I made a video talking about, like, Pixiv and even DL Site facing issues with card companies and how these card companies were just basically playing ball. Like, they were playing, you know, very... like, mean. Like, for instance, if they didn't remove content, like if DL Site or Pixiv didn't remove certain content, these card companies like Visa and MasterCard would pull themselves off the site. And
yeah, this is also a control way. There are just not enough, how is it called? They don't have enough, not enemies. Just people are in the same ball game and actually can provide the same service. They're just way too big companies that just can get it, and if you disagree, well, you're basically effed. And what I wanna say, Chibi, this recommendation, welcome to visual novels. Well, I think we know in which way this guy goes.
and they no longer would be able to have any form of payments. And to kind of simplify this in the best way, basically, if you are someone that wants to make a purchase, obviously you might use a Visa card, a MasterCard, you get the point, debit card, you get the point. And if these card companies no longer support said site, and that is the main form of payment that site takes, obviously they're not going to be able to make money. So think about it like this. There is a store, sells manga. The only form of payment they can accept is, obviously, since it's online, it's an online site, they accept Visa and MasterCard. And if those two companies are like, we don't like your content, we don't want to support this content, they pull out, well, obviously, that means that site no longer can make money. So
yeah, and by the way, if this happens once, in my opinion, if the Visa company says, okay, we don't like your company, blah, 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 the state should say, oh, you don't like that? You don't like that? Then... sorry, you're a private firm, you won't get any help from us anymore. If you want to do that shit, then please.
Effectively, they die. The site just straight up dies. And the reason why these card companies are doing it is because they want Japan to censor themselves. They don't like certain content that's on there, like certain fan service content and stuff like that. And so they want Japan to self-censor itself before these companies could even put their payment, like their card information stuff, on the said site.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest, you still have alternatives. I think, like PayPal or something like that.
So, it's pretty messed up. This is something that's been ongoing for a while now with, like, DL Site and Pixiv. For instance, Pixiv has, like, a lot of artists and stuff on it, while DL Site is a site that has a lot of visual novels. A lot of, like, you know, Japanese creators make, let's say, RPG Maker games or visual novel games. They're hosted on the site, and obviously, you know, there's a lot of, let's say, 18-plus type content on that site, and Visa and MasterCard have effectively pulled out. But the story gets a lot worse than that. It's not just Visa and MasterCard that's theoretically pulling out of the site, or out of these sites now. It's also the main Japanese card company pulling out of these sites.
No
King
effing
himself
way.
even talks about this, and even in this post as well. This is a Google translation of the official Japanese post from the site. But basically, there is a brand, like a card company that's like Japanese something, like, I forget what it's called, but there is a credit card company in Japan that has, you know, their own card and stuff, and they have also pulled out of the site of Manga Z, and they're starting to kind of follow suit with other sites as well. And this pretty much means that this card company is most likely bowing down to the will of Visa and MasterCard to be able to continue to operate and do business. So what is the solution here? Well, to be honest with you, I don't have a solution. I don't really know exactly what Kin could really do besides what he kind of lays out.
He can't do shit, by the way. If they pull back, they pull back. What he has to do is find an alternative for the customer to actually do that. That's not too, well, hard to get by. Yeah, it's shitty. I'm gonna be honest, if this happened to me, I wouldn't know how to deal with it. I really wouldn't know.
In this post, but also in the official post here, that the only way for the site and these other sites to continuously operate is through either crowdfunding from the people around or through donations. Because if these card companies do not want to play ball and basically they don't allow payments, then these sites just can't operate. You can't keep the lights on if you're not making money. That's the truth. So
Yeah.
it's sad, because this all stems back around to censorship, and that these companies are just wanting to force their ideology for their own companies onto Japan and have them censor the stuff at the very source.
Sadly.
So let's talk about this for a second and kind of what this really does mean. And it's very easy for a long time now people to be like, oh, if content is censored, okay, you know, it's only censored in the West, in Europe, United States, you get the point. And, you know,
Not the
you
case
can
anymore.
actually see the uncensored version if you maybe go online, because obviously Japan has its own uncensored version. That was how it was meant to be. But the thing is with these card companies now being very heavy-handed and really pushing their thoughts and feelings and ideology onto Japan, it's forcing Japan offers and these companies in Japan to self-censor themselves at the very source, to where it won't just affect, like, how anime are in Western societies, but also just how it is in Japan. For instance, offers no longer will be able to maybe have a lot of fan service or certain ways characters are drawn, maybe a character being beautiful, it won't be allowed because of how these card companies are currently acting. So this is going to have a ripple effect on Japan and its culture and just how anime is created going forward, and manga as well. It's legitimately sad. This is just straight up tragedy. This is basically the culture of Japan being trampled upon and being forced to change because obviously it doesn't fit the ideology of certain.
Yeah, and by the way, this is happening because of the ideology. Chip is correct, but I'm gonna say it a bit in my words. They are doing it because they think they are superior. That their culture, their thinking, their knowing is superior to everyone else. I mean, I'm gonna be honest, in Poland, because yes, I was born in Poland, oczywiście też tam mieszkałem parę lat. My Polish, it's the main language, like it's the mother language, as we say, Muttersprache in Deutschland. And we actually fucked people like that up. Yeah. If people actually thought they are better than us, yeah, they got fucked up. And not always with physical violence. No. Sometimes, suddenly they were lonely. Just like that. Nobody wanted to have anything to do with them. We called them freaks. Basically. It wasn't one-to-one. But, yeah, in Poland, that was different. I mean, I don't know how it is now. I guess it's the same because I don't live there anymore, but for fuck's sake.
You know, companies, etc., and their agendas. It's gross stuff, man. It is legitimately gross. What's even sadder about this whole ordeal is that this site Manga Z that is being shut down, according to the information, Manga Z was a free distribution like site for manga, for you could read manga in Japan and stuff. I'm assuming the purchases that were made were probably for like merchandise and stuff like that for the series support, but it more or less was a site for the fans. It was for the community of manga, people that love manga and anime, and that's what it was for. And it's being forced to basically shut itself down. Ken also is a very well-known and prolific author and artist in Japan. He is the creator of Love Hina, and I know in this day and age there's a lot of new fans that might not be aware of Love Hina and its.
I'm gonna be honest, I don't know what Love Hina is, to be honest. Don't really care as it is, but what I care about is specifically that this is a beloved series somewhere in Japan and people just fuck with it. Come on. Why? just let the people have fun. Or can't you see that other human beings have fun? Except for you.
Overall cultural impact. But Love Hina really is a impactful and culturally successful series that really made way for, like, for instance, like the romance, rom-com, harem genre. It is very iconic. It is something that legitimately is has inspired hundreds upon hundreds, maybe thousands upon thousands of creators in Japan to write their stories. And so seeing the author Ken having to basically self-censor themselves and censor the actual, like, site, it's devastating, man. I hate seeing this. It legitimately makes me extremely sad. It just makes me extremely sad, honestly, all things considered, because it's like, I hate seeing an author having to go through this, or just anybody, honestly. Yeah, so this is an ongoing campaign of censorship that's been happening for a while now, and this post is just really devastating news. I hope that something is worked out. I hope that there's a crowdfunding or whatever, because if I'm able to crowdfund, I'll try to help out myself. I hate seeing this, man. This is messed up. This is legitimately messed up. I hate seeing, like, literally, just how, at the very source, Japan is having to censor itself now. I'll leave it at that, though. Thank you so much.
Yeah, Chibi, as always, thank you for the freaking thing. You're a legend. Oh yeah, because I forgot, show me and him some love and like and subscribe. Come on. He deserves it at least. My reactions, Lob, maybe, as you wished, think about it what you want, but for fuck's sake, like, at least for him. Good night.